What's up, guys and gals? My name is Splattercat, and we're here at the Nerd Castle today with another episode of the Banner Saga. In the previous episode, we got logged down in this big old pretty city, and it looks like we've pretty much done everything that needs to be done. We stole like a golden horn, and then we gave it to a guy at the market, who then gave us lots and lots of supplies so that we were no longer starving, but it was indeed too late because the Varl have gone extinct inside of our party, aside from, you know, the plot necessary ones. Let's go ahead and we're gonna man the gate over here. No, let's go to heroes first. I remember you guys have been clamoring about this for some time now, about putting points into Avon. This is how far ahead I pre-record things. Like, as of right now, I think this is like probably a week from now you'll see this. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at Avon's stats. So he's got 8 points, and while I had relegated him to the back of the line, I am sort of frustrated with him still. He's one of those characters that has made me deeply, deeply grumpy. I think I'm gonna put a bunch of points because, as I understand it, he does an arc lightning, but then he's also got mend, and mend, let's see here, restores the army, is restored to half of the current willpower rounded up. And so I think it's going to be more useful to have him maxed out on willpower, because that right there on his first cast is going to be 6 armor that he restores to somebody, which could potentially mean that that person stays in the front line for another couple turns. That's not bad at all things considered. Now, he doesn't have very good exertion, he doesn't have very good armor breaking, and so I think the best way to go with him is probably going to be just to go with something like that, since I don't really think that's going to be his primary use. With his lightning bolt spell, it does strength 2 damage, and he can do up to rank 3, so he can do 4 strength damage, and then it'll bounce around a little bit. And so let's go ahead, and Trigvi is now wounded, which means in his case, if we can't use Trigvi, I'll probably throw Avon in, although it might be a better decision to throw somebody in that can actually level up. We've only got 15 renown, which I was trying to hold on to in the case that we would need it later on in the future. Let's go ahead and see if we can do a battle here. I can't really assume that the game is going to be over and done with yet because we haven't found Juno. So let's go talk to him. This morning, says Ivor, I saw him. Bellower's here, and I think it won't be long now. Avon leans silently on his staff nearby. One of your clansmen comes to you out of breath. Rook, he says, things are real bad. Look, there's nothing you can do about it at this point, but a lot of the caravan have been robbed, killed, and just disappeared. Those of us left are going to split up and hide where we can. Wanted you to know, in case you can somehow pull through this. He runs off, clearly distressed. You grimace, wondering if this could have played out another way. Yeah, well, limited time. Where we were at, it was either find food or find shelter, and we didn't have time to do either, so you gotta do what you gotta do. You consider what you want to do now, knowing that any of these tasks will take a full day. I suppose we don't have a lot of fighters left. Let's go ahead and... well, I don't know, guys. This is a rough decision. I don't even know what's going to happen if we put Krumir in charge of leading the warriors. Part of me just wants to go defend the wall, so I guess that's what we'll do. I'll be honest with you, Ivor says. There's too many of them. At this point, we're just delaying the inevitable. You catch his eye. We've still got to try, you say. And so we step out to do just that. I'm going to take Avon with me this time. Krumir is tempting just because he's reasonably decent in a fight and he's really good at busting armor. Then again, we've already got 2 guys up in our front line that are doing their deals, so I think I'm going to bring Avon and we'll focus on getting Rook and Hogan leveled up. Maybe. I don't know. At this point, I'm sort of out of ideas, and I realize I've been saying at this point, but I really do feel as though we've come to some kind of locus here, unfortunately. But in any case, we'll go ahead and see what they're going to throw us up against, and we'll get a little bit of extra renown, maybe throw in a few more level ups. I was concerned that Bellower might show up soon, and it appears to be the case. Oh wow, this fight is sorta hefty. Okay, well, we're definitely going to want to crawl back into a corner and allow them, given the amount of enormous troops they have. We have an 18 damage dealer right there, we have an 18 damage dealer right there, and the rest are just little guys. Luckily, we have no range, which means that turtling is not going to be a punishing sport here. We should be able to turtle up rather nicely and make it through. He's got 18 damage. It's not going to be enough, so let's go ahead and draw everybody back that we can. And we'll just sort of wait and see how this plays out. I know we've got a little bit of time before he gets at us. I may switch Avon and her so that she can sunder his armor up front. His armor is not necessarily so high that I'm worried about it. I think it'll probably take us 1 or 2 strikes to get his down, but as for this guy, it's definitely going to take 2. Let's go ahead and begin our battle, and we're going to see how far he can move, and where is he at in the overall battle. He's in the middle somewhere. Who's first? First is way in the back. We're going to go ahead and give it a rest. That large shielded fellow is going to step forward. That's fine. We're just going to keep on resting. Now, we do want to bear in mind that because willpower is so low right now, we're probably going to be functioning on a little bit less of a tank than we would normally be using. However, she's still got 8, which is perfectly fine. As long as she can grab a couple of people for some armor damage, I think we should be good. Thread the Needle appears to be much better in this case too, since her armor breakage is 5. With Thread the Needle, we should be able to fire through lines if we can pull it off properly. I'm going to go ahead and allow him to rest too. We're just going to wait and see. That guy's going to take a very, very safe move. In which case, in the next turn, I'm going to move him over to here, just so I can tap him out of any ideas. Because he physically can't move far enough as much as I can tell. He's got, oh yeah, he's only got 1 exertion, so that'll be a safe move. Go ahead and rest where we're at. And we did sort of luck out because they do have a lot of 4-square individuals. That's why I try and limit myself. You'll notice that I don't necessarily bring quite as many Varl as I could. It's because Varl are very difficult to maneuver around in my experience. They become kind of a pain very, very rapidly. Let's see what he does now. He's going to do the same thing. He's going to move over so that he can take a swing, presumably at Gunnulf. Which means I'll probably step her forward in the next turn, take a shot at him, step Gunnulf forward, take a slash. We've got him now. And with the way that their movement's working, I can do a couple things right here. But the one that I'm going to do is going to be a bit of a diversionary tactic. I'm going to scoot him on over to here. Since his exertion is so low that he can't really do anything anyways, it still leaves enough space to where I can put him back into position regardless of what I do right there. Now over here I do have an interesting choice in front of me. I could step over and deal a little bit of damage to him, or I can hang back and I could force him to make the first move. His damage is not necessarily going to do much. However, in the case of these Warhawks, I really do think it is important to get in there and get the first strike off, but that does put him... Well, it doesn't give him any imminent concern, actually. I think we should be okay. I mean, he could get up and in. The safe move would be to put him right here so that he still blocks the pass from this little guy, so that nothing weird happens. However, what could happen is if I move him out to there and strike, he could make a cut around, and that would become a very major problem for us. So at this juncture, I'm not sure what to try. I've been sort of conducting myself in circles around this individual because he hits so much harder. In any case... let's go ahead and ensure a let safety, which I think is the more important thing to do right now, because if I can sunder off some armor, the amount of damage that Gunnulf can do in a very, very short period of time is just monumental. So I think it's probably going to be in my best interest. Now with his lightning, how far out does that go? It only goes out that far. That explains why they've been hanging back so carefully as well. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to bypass another turn and just let them condense and see what they do. Now then. She could take a shot from there, but he will be able to close with that position, unfortunately. So we're left in another circumstance where I kind of have to let my guys just hang back a bit and wait for the enemy to do their thing. And so wait for it we shall. I don't know what their overall plan is right now. But I think it's time. So let's get in here. We're going to sunder off a bit of armor right there. Ideally, what I would prefer to do is create a bit of a cage that the enemy can't get through. Unfortunately, that may not be something that we can accomplish. How much armor does he have? 16? What's this guy's movement looking like? He can get around that side. If I drop him to a 14, that leaves him... I think I'll go for a 16 just to make sure that we keep Gunnulf safe, because the AI really, really, really likes to go after Gunnulf. And so my guess is that they may try and do some kind of squish action right there to make themselves a bit more terrifying. On this end, I've got a decision to make as to whether... I want to move Gunnulf and do 10 damage right there and pretty much knock him out of the fight, but then that leaves Alette exposed. When's his next turn up? He's up next. I wish, if I had, what's his name? If I had Krumir, I could probably rearrange this a little bit better. But for now, I feel like I'm trapped in a situation where I need to figure out what he's going to do before I move Gunnulf around. Because moving Gunnulf will, of course, leave her exposed. And I would hate to have to resituate everybody to make her safe, unfortunately. As she is very much kind of the linchpin of my strategy at this point. Let's go ahead and he's going to rest there. Okay, and he's just going to take the 1 damage. That's fine. I can definitely understand and I can deal with that problem right there. Now, because he's got himself adjacency... Oops, that's the wrong person. I thought I had Mogan selected. Well then. That's no fun. But I can make use of his ability right here because we do have a diagonal strike going. So let's do that so at least we've accomplished something here. I had meant to move Mogan. And so basically now what I've got to do is it worked out to the extent that none of these guys are going to be able to wound him very badly on the next turn. But at the same time, I've kind of done something dumb here when I could have done something smart. So it's the Nerdcastle, you know, MLG gaming. Like I said, not the point. That's not what we do here. Now with him, we need to get going. So let's do an 8 armor sunder off of him. And so there it is. We've got a lot of sundering to be done, unfortunately, and there are a lot of shielded individuals that we have to keep an eye on. But over on this side, let's go ahead and handle him. I am going to kill off a few units here. I may run this very similar to the strategy that we ran back when we were fighting against all of the Varl. And what I mean by that is that we're going to keep a lot of wounded people up in the front. Oh, they're being smarter this time. He's going to try and summon some units, it looks like, which is very, very bad. This is one of those fights where I don't think we can handle a lot of attrition. I'm going to have Gunnulf kill him off, because we can. Make space for the next guy to come down the line. Were Alette out of willpower, I wouldn't have allowed that to happen. We only have 1 diagonal right there. But I do need to get rid of him. And so I'm in a space where I can either sacrifice somebody to get rid of him. Actually, no. Can he blast from there? What's his range looking like with that? He is touching a diagonal with him too, so this might serve to be a smart move for later, especially considering we haven't taken much armor damage. So his tier 1, what does his tier 1 do? Hold on, how much damage is... It does 2 strength damage, so we need at least 3. So let's upgrade it once, and we'll whack him outright, and then it'll do 4 to him, which will put him down to 14, and that will serve us rather nicely. Very good. And so now that does unfortunately leave Mogan unable to move one more time, but what Mogan can do is he can seal off this run right here so that our archers are nice and safe. It looks like they're going to concern themselves with Gunnulf though, so that's alright, we'll take it. We will absolutely take it. On this side, they've got 10, 9, and 10. That's nothing that he can't plow through instantly. And so I think our good move here is going to be starting this guy off with a little round of armor breakage. How much does she have left? 5. Very good. That leaves us with a 7 damage hit on him, which is not optimal, but at the same time, it's enough armor gone to where I feel okay about dealing with him in another kind of respect. But this guy here... We can start damaging him, which I think I'll do. We'll knock him down a little bit. 11 is kind of scary. It gets through most armor on human characters, but 7 is much less terrifying. Now then, that leaves Ivor in a spot where he can do 4 damage. There it is. He's obviously going to step in, and he's going to go after our Mender. That's bad. It's pretty bad, but at the same time... It was something that I figured we were probably going to have to go through at any moment. So what we'll do is we'll whack him. for 8 damage, so he's now minuscule in strength. He's been diminished. He is no longer wielding a hefty club of doom. He is kind of just weak and ineffectual. And now at this point we step him back and we'll step somebody else into the line when it becomes convenient. Two damage dealt right there. That's fine. They're now lined up for a Tempest, which will be really, really good and will work in our favor. We've got Hogan stepped up now. We're going to have him Bloody Flail on this spot. We're just going to have him go for the normal strike and really hope for some lucky hits. There it is. An enemy is down. Now then. Where is his turn coming up? His turn's coming up fairly shortly. His turn comes after Gunolf, so this guy's got to go. I could have filled in the gap with Mogan, but I wanted to make sure Mogan got a kill. What we'll do here is we'll sunder out that armor natively. And on the next turn, we should be able to have Rook handle whatever damage gets thrown out. He's going to unfortunately deal a little bit of damage there. With the 7 that we have available, we're going to go ahead and whack him. Now we're gonna play, we could play Plug the Hole, which is a game that got me kicked out of the senior center lately, but what we could do is we can either drop him right here and create like a little bit of a stop block, and then we could advance our entire line. I think I'll just go to there for now. We'll throw in some extra damage to make sure. Actually, no. We'll just do the 3. And I think he'll be able to do a 5. Ooh, and we got a deflection. And so with his 5, that should take him out of the battle. And we're at the point now where we want to stop killing people. We want to make sure that everybody stays in their proper place so that we don't end up in a really, really nasty situation. There's no armor that needs to be mended at the moment, so I'm going to keep the mender back and allow him to get a little bit of willpower recovered. He's going to sunder out some armor. Okay, that's acceptable. I don't really know what to do with Mogan right now. There's nowhere that he can go that has any real adjacency bonus. I suppose stealing the line right here and making sure they can't get back to the arches is probably a smart choice. Let's do Bloody Flail, and since he's not adjacent with anybody, I'm going to add an extra willpower so that he gets a 5er off. And he did deal a lot of damage to strength right there, which should help us in the future. Now then, Alette is not in any position to be taking shots at anybody, and that means we've got to swap her forward a tad. We're going to start dealing some armor damage to him. So there's 7. That's going to put him down to 12, which is still a pretty sizable amount of armor. I mean, he is still definitely standing behind a shield of some force, or some ability to absorb force, unfortunately, but that does allow us to get in here with her father as well and do another 4. And now that he's sitting at 8, he's not necessarily such a threat anymore. Having dealt the damage we're going to deal, I'm going to do the 5 on him. Bit of a knockback there. What's he doing? He's still just rocking a 14, huh? And he hasn't stepped into battle either, which is really kind of the weird... That's a very, very strange thing. Well, in any case, let's go ahead and take our scalp now. He's obviously going to step in and deal his full 14, I think. Ooh, and even do a 6. Alright then. How much does he have remaining? He's only got 2. But he could deal a little bit of damage there, and that's what I'm going to do. No other real choice. Ah, the focus appears to be on Gunolf now. I'm going to get him an adjacency bonus, and then we're going to go with Bloody Flail on this big guy here. And there it is. He's now no longer useful to his own faction. And with Alette where she is, we need to get some of his armor done away with, so let's do away with it as rapidly as we can. think a potential move to here, and then a strike on him is going to be the best way to go so that we can maintain Gunnulf possibly in between here and the next battle. He's going to get a deflection, which is very, very nice. Ivor's going to score the kill right here. He's going to back off and do a summon, which is unexpected, but definitely welcome. That's something that I will accept. I will definitely leave myself open and wanting for that, so that's good. And then here, I think, what we want to... He's going to be over there. He's going to get the summon off either way, so let's go ahead and kill this guy. We've now entered pillage mode, but pillage mode has kind of backfired on the game because now we're able to do something that we've never been able to do before, which is move our entire retinue before they can move anything. With Avon, I'm going to put him up a little bit with some willpower, and we'll throw some arc lightning on him. Little bit of a waste, but at the same time, not really. I'm going to move Mogan out for the kill. Make him my shark in this overall thing, and he smells penguins in the water. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe, I think it's porpoises. There we go, I think porpoises eat penguins, because it's alliterative. And when selecting your food, you always want it to be alliterative, if you can get away with it. With Rook now, let's go ahead and just form a solid line, and we're going to wait for the enemy to do their thing. I'm gonna let him move one more time, I guess. Although he keeps doing weird ziggy-zaggy moves. I think he's trying to find the most optimal path to my first guy. And so what we do then is just move him over to there. And that may have been one of our best played battles that we've ever done in this entire series. I'm fairly impressed with the way things turned out. Now then, with his 10 strength, we've had enough time to get him some willpower back. And looking at the range of arc lightning, he could step back one, and I think from there he could still hit him. So we're going to try it out. Let's go ahead and move him to there. And use arc lightning to its full extent. And that 4 strength that bypasses armor doesn't seem like much, but it is enough to really remove the sting from a lot of these enemies. Which really leaves their 1990s and 80s music selections completely and totally haphazard. But in any case, let's go ahead and do Bloody Flip. That's might. I made a joke about Sting. Going way back on that one. That's going to be a throwback right there. And everybody else will just sort of circle strafe around with. I'm going to go for the kill on Rook because I'd like to level him too. And so there it is, a flawless battle in which we lost nobody. That went way better than I thought it would. Looking at the enemy, like the enemy assemblage, I suppose is the word that I'm searching for right there. Looking at the assembly of the enemy, I felt like that was going to be a battle that was really going to like wreak havoc on our lines. It was going to be a problem, and I was going to lose 18 people. Luckily, it didn't go that way, and it worked out mighty fine. Having had the day over, I don't know if we can just sit there and farm on the front lines over and over and over again. Let me have a little look-see at how long this episode's gone. I think I'm going to break it off a little bit early because I don't see any way that we're going to be able to do any other action without the end episode kind of running really, really long. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here for the Banner Saga Stoic Studios master-crafted animated game. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Take care out there, everybody, and I do.